Mesmerizing.
Hurry up and lick it before the other cat gets it.
Yep. The overhead view. Oh. This is the problem I usually have.
I spilled some.
Yep.
I'm sure they will clean it up.
Yeah, but there's still more on the plate. That's going to be harder for them to be willing to do.
I got some on me soon.
That's okay.
He's chewing. Is it?
I think that's about all you're going to get.
Yeah. And also, as my hand gets slippery from all of the cat saliva, it's harder to squeeze out more.
I think it's fine. You don't have to extract every last drop.
Yeah, I do. It has a little bit on his ear there. On the ear tuft.
Yep. I love how he's looking up at the camera. Zone did that earlier too.
And that's everything.
Oh, fancy seeing you here. These things here are Feliway. Feliway is what I use to convince my cats to not kill each other. Allow me to explain, and allow me to actually use a tripod, because, So this is a Feliway plugin. This one's been used quite a bit, so it's a bit dirty, but, and obviously, Stukov style power adapter here, rather than other varieties that you might see in, say, North America or Australia or the rest of the world. These are very similar to what you find for, like, plugins for air fresheners and that type of thing. Only most people don't smell these. I actually can smell it, oddly enough. But these are cat pheromones. This is the full version. You can see this actually has liquid. This doesn't, because it's empty. It lasts for about 30 days. And I can usually tell when I need to replace it by the fact that my cats keep fighting each other, which is what's been going on today. So I've needed to replace 2 of the 3. The third one is actually in Creator's room. That it doesn't seem to need replacement as often. I'm guessing because of the proximity to this one. I'm gonna go plug it in really fast. Be right back. So yeah, there are Feliway is a brand name. I don't really know of any other brand that does this type of thing, oddly enough. And there are 3 product lines of this, and Feliway Classic is the oldest one, the one that I started off my cats with. My cats ignored it. I had started it specifically out of recommendation from my vet saying that it can help. And the way it works is basically they extract various pheromones from cats and dose up the pheromone. So they try to tweak it towards certain chemical combinations that lead cats to feeling like they've marked this territory. This is their home. This is a relaxing pheromone. And Feliway Classic did nothing for any of my cats. The second one was Feliway Multicat, which is specifically designed for multiple cat homes. I think it's basically engineered to be a more generic version of the same pheromone. It worked on Boo. It didn't work on his Sooner Zone. So I kind of wrote off Feliway entirely at that point. It's like, it's not really going to do much of anything. What's the point? When I moved to Norway is when I found out about this third one, which is Feliway Optimum. And this one actually works on Isunin Zone. They start calming down a bit. It's not a huge difference, but it's noticeable. And from what I've been able to tell, different cats respond to different ones of the pheromones. Some cats don't respond to any of them. Some cats respond to all of them. Some cats, it's some combination thereof. So I basically pump this house full of Feliway. It is not exactly cheap to run these constantly. And the plugins themselves are supposed to be replaced every, I think it's 6 months. I'm going to replace them when I move to the new place. So it's not really worth replacing them right this moment. I can smell it when it's first plugged in. I will eventually become noseblind to it, but right now, like, if I walk by it, the fact that I just plugged one back in, it will absolutely smell of... I don't even know how to describe the smell. It's just... there. If that makes any sense. Basically, I can detect that there's something there, and I couldn't tell you what it smells like. We have one of these downstairs, one of them upstairs, and one of them in Creator's room. We originally got the one for Creator's room when Jamara joined us, because Creator's room was closed off at the time, and thus wasn't getting any of the Feliway from the rest of the house. At this point, the door is almost always open. That one's probably a bit redundant. I'm thinking we're only going to end up with 2 Feliway when we move. One in the living area, one in the bedroom area. But maybe I'll end up with a 3rd Feliway in the middle. I don't know yet. They're supposed to be good for a certain square footage or square meterage of a home. Our apartment here, we really only need 1. It's just the fact that they're 2 different stories that we need 2 of them. The new house doesn't have multi-floors, so I think 2 of them would suffice for the entire apartment. Anyway, I didn't really have a great idea as to what to talk about today, and I decided I was going to talk about cats after recording their little interaction from above for Churu. So, yep, Feliway. If you have cats that are having like anxiety-related problems or aggression-related problems, try one. If it doesn't work, try a different variety. If it doesn't work, try the 3rd variety. If none of those work, I'm sorry. It's helped a lot of cats, I know that, but the fact that it helped us in its own is nice. Otherwise, I've had a very busy day. Whole bunch of running around, including multiple doctor's appointments, and I actually have 3 doctor's appointments on my own this week, and Creator had another one today. So it's been a lot of running around instead of actually getting work done. And of course, my work laptop decided to go blue screen the moment I locked it when I left to go to an appointment. My work laptop is such a piece of garbage. So I'll explain. In fact, you know what? Part 2 of the vlog. Give me a moment. Okay. This is my work laptop. I'm covering up the company tag on it because I just generally don't mention the business that I work for on these videos because I don't want anyone to misconstrue what I'm saying. Oh, it turned itself on. Great. Even though lid is closed and it is set to sleep on lid close, doesn't matter. Actually, the fact that it's blowing this much means it probably blue screened from me closing the lid. So this is a new laptop. I received it... when was that? This winter, I want to say, like November, December, sometime in that time frame. Anyway, this is a new laptop. When the company I work for, which acquired the company I originally worked for, one of their steps for this was that they were replacing everybody's laptops with company branded laptops instead of our previous laptops. So I received this laptop in the mail, like I said, the end of last year. And apparently I was the last person to get a laptop, and as a result, I have a different model than literally every other person at the company. Not just of the company I originally worked for and their group, but everyone, because this was a brand new model. This was the model that they were selling at the time. It's a Dell 16 Pro Max, I think. I don't remember. Dell has weird terminology. Anyway, this laptop is actually, according to the specs, great. It is overkill, in fact, which is probably a large chunk of the problem. So this laptop, this thing, I'm just going to hold it up from this side because there's no incriminating / identifying information on this side, is Pro Max, apparently, according to the thing back here. This has a relatively fast mobile CPU. I want to say it's an Ultra 200 series. It has 32 gig of RAM, which is very expensive now. That is probably the one component of it I actually do use, because not only am I a RAM hog in my personal life, I am a RAM hog as a professional, and software development uses up a lot of RAM. Anyway, 30 gig of RAM. It has a 2 terabyte SSD for some dumbass reason. I'm using, like, I don't know, 200 gig on it. I don't really use that much storage space on my laptop. And it has a dedicated GPU for some reason. Nothing I do even uses the dedicated GPU. It is just taking up power, space, and weight. This thing is really heavy. It's significantly heavier than my personal laptop. And my personal laptop has a high-end mobile graphics card. This has a low-end mobile graphics card, weighs a ton, and its battery life is measured in minutes and not hours. It's not entirely true. I can get like an hour and a half from it. But that's horrible in the year 2026. But really, the problems are with the camera module. So it has a camera, and as a part of my work, I do meetings with video. So I get to see my face in a preview just like this frequently. And I had noticed that the video started glitching. I only noticed it whenever I was using Teams, which is unfortunately the application that we use for conferencing at my workplace, and it only came up in the application. There's Teams for web and Teams, the local application. The local application will preview your video at 30 frames per second. Teams web previews it at 15 frames per second. So, and the video glitches were only 1 frame long. So my guess was that the video glitches were happening, just that they were happening between those frames that I don't get to preview. And other people on the call would see those glitches from time to time as well, depending on if they were seeing at 30 frames per second or 15. So went through a huge rigmarole, and I don't want to get into the work side of things, but they eventually told me to contact Dell. And while this was happening, my machine started blue screening. Or black screening, I should say, because Windows 11 doesn't have blue screens anymore, they have solid black screens. The laptop is roughly crashing once a week. It only seems to crash while idle, oddly enough. It's usually shortly after I leave my desk, either because I need to use the bathroom, or I'm done with the day, or going on lunch, or anything like that. It will crash and attempt to reboot. And about a 40% chance of success on actually rebooting. Otherwise, it either locks up or goes into recovery mode because it can't properly boot. Sometimes there's data written to the disk from a crash log, sometimes there isn't. And my best assumption right now is that I have bad RAM. Which goes back to the RAM in this is very expensive. Dell doesn't have replacement RAM. So I reported this issue back in March. The next available appointment from Dell, where they will actually have the parts, is in May. And even then, they just basically said, we think maybe mid-May. So I have a laptop that I'm required to use for my job. I cannot do my job from another device or anything like that. That is failing. It is actively getting worse. The camera thing, whatever. It's not that big of a deal to work around. I can just not use the camera or plug in a USB webcam, although I don't know if that actually works or not, because it's hard to reproduce the camera glitch. I have a crashing machine that sometimes doesn't come back, and one of these times, it might just not boot. And if that happens, I don't know what to do. Like, I can't work. There's nothing I can do. Even going into the office, which there is an office here, it's just very hard to get to for me. It's not like they have computers there. It's a hot desk situation. You need your laptop to be able to work in the office. So, what do I do? I've never been in this situation before because most companies that I work with would just mail you a replacement laptop and handle all of these details. The company I work for now doesn't for some reason. Like I said, I'm not going to get into intercompany things, but just wanted to gripe about laptop because, okay, did it actually blue screen? No, good. My luck with laptops is, regardless of whether this is given to me by my company or whether I buy it myself, although company laptops are usually significantly higher chance of having some spooned problem with it. The number of laptops I went through at Epic. Ugh. Anyway, I gave you a 2-topic video. That's good enough for me today, Internet. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Hopefully you've had a good kitten. Bye!